Hello, welcome to First Chapter Friday. The story today is one that has been greatly BookToked, and that is because it's amazing. It's a suspense, and it has some features in it that everyone keeps talking about. Plus, the sequel or prequel just came out. That book is We Were Liars, and it's by Lockhart. The prequel is Family of Liars. And this just came out, which is part of why everything's just like drummed up again, the excitement. So, New York Times bestseller. This is quite the short chapter, but I'll give you a little bit of my review of the book afterwards. Okay, it begins with a map of the island that all the adventures took place on. The Sinclair family tree. And of course, a bit of that. There you go. Okay. Part 1, welcome. Welcome to the beautiful Sinclair family. No one is a criminal. No one is an addict. No one is a failure. The Sinclairs are athletic, tall, and handsome. We are old money Democrats. Our smiles are wide, our chins are square, and our tennis serves aggressive. It doesn't matter if divorce shreds the muscles of our hearts so that they will hardly beat without a struggle. It doesn't matter if the trust fund money is running out, if credit card bills go unpaid on the kitchen counter. It doesn't matter if there's a cluster of pill bottles on the bedside table. It doesn't matter if one of us is desperately, desperately in love. So much in love that equally desperate measures must be taken. We are the Sinclairs. No one is needy. No one is wrong. We live, at least in the summertime, on a private island off the coast of Massachusetts. Perhaps that is all you need to know. That is it for Chapter 1. Chapter 2 I kind of have to read just because, also quite short. Chapter 2. My full name is Cadence Sinclair Eastman. I live in Burlington, Vermont with Mummy and 3 dogs. I'm nearly 18. I own a well-used library card and not much else. Though it is true I live in a grand house full of expensive, useless objects. I used to be blonde, but now my hair is black. I used to be strong, but now I am weak. I used to be pretty, but now I look sick. It is true I suffer migraines since my accident. It is true I do not suffer fools. I like a twist of meaning. You see, suffer migraines, do not suffer fools. The word means almost the same as it did in the previous sentence, but not quite. Suffer. You could say it means endure, but that's not exactly right. My story starts before the accident. June of the summer I was 15. My father ran off with some woman he loved more than us. Dad was a middling, successful professor of military history. Back then I adored him. He wore tweed jackets. He was gaunt. He drank milky tea. He was fond of board games and let me win. Fond of boats and taught me to kayak. Fond of bicycles, books, and art museums. He was never fond of dogs, and it was a sign of how much he loved my mother that he had let our golden retrievers sleep on the sofas and walked them 3 miles every morning. He was never fond of my grandparents either, and it was a sign of how much he loved both me and Mummy that he spent every summer in Windermere House on Beechwood Island, writing articles on wars fought long ago, and putting on a smile for the relatives at every meal. That June, summer 15, Dad announced he was leaving and departed 2 days later. He told my mother he wasn't a Sinclair and couldn't try to be one any longer. He couldn't smile, couldn't lie, couldn't be part of that beautiful family and those beautiful houses. Couldn't, wouldn't. He had hired moving vans already. He'd rented a house, too. My father put a last suitcase into the back seat of the Mercedes, he was leaving Mom with only the Saab, and started the engine. Then he pulled out a handgun and shot me in the chest. I was standing on the lawn and I fell. The bullet hole opened wide, and my heart rolled out of my ribcage and down into a flower bed. Blood gushing rhythmically from my open wound, then from my eyes, my ears, my mouth. It tasted like salt and failure. The bright red shame of being unloved soaked the grass in front of our house, the bricks of the path, the steps to the porch. My heart spasmed among the peonies like a trout. Mummy snapped. She said to get a hold of myself. Be normal now, she said. Right now, she said. Because you are, because you can be. Don't cause a scene, she told me. Breathe and sit up. I did what she asked. She was all I had left. Mummy and I tilted our square chins high as Dad drove down the hill. Then we went indoors and trashed the gifts that he'd given us. Jewelry, clothes, books, anything. And the days that followed, we got rid of the couch and the armchairs my parents had bought together, the silver, the photographs. We purchased new furniture, hired a decorator, placed an order for Tiffany silverware, spent a day walking through art galleries and bought paintings to cover the empty spaces on our walls. We asked Granddad's lawyers to secure Mummy's assets. And then we packed our bags and went to Beechwood Island. Okay, at least you got to know the main character of the book. So everything, I want you to kind of picture the Kennedys in your mind, especially since Kennedys are from Massachusetts. That kind of really fits. They are just so moneyed and have no understanding of the lower classes, and there are people on this island that are not their high class, and they don't understand each other's pressures. And there's romance, there's unrequited love, there's disasters, and all of it's being told from the point of view of Cadence. And it is after the events have happened, they traumatized her, these events, so badly that it's actually, she's telling this tale years in advance from when they occurred. And the only other thing I'll say about that is she's insisting that she needs to go back to the island in order to find out whether her memories can come back so she can piece together what happened in that huge trauma. Now, I haven't read this yet, but I'm really hoping that it gives more of the background of what led to their dad leaving and how they became who they were, the elite Sinclair family. But I guess I will have to find that out later because this is the end of today's talk. I hope you have a great week, and I will see you next Friday. Thanks for watching.